Let's rock our collections with Ahmet Zappa right here on the Music Universe podcast. Oh, Matt, how you doing?
I'm great. This was a fun one. We did this while I was actually home for a wedding, so I might look a little different. It's nice to be back in the studio. But Ahmet was so cool to talk to and so down to earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's hosting a new show on Access TV. It debuts this Sunday. It's called Rock My Collection, and it gets a little weird on there, but some really neat items that people get to show off and then decide based on the appraisal that they get if they want to sell the items or not. And you have to watch the show, but it's really cool. But the really neat aspect of it is if you want to buy the items that are being put up for auction, you can. And you just go to their website and, when the show airs, and you're able to purchase or bid on those items. And then there's actually items weekly coming out based on what was shown that week. So it's a really neat concept. We had the pleasure of seeing a rough cut of the premiere episode, again, Sunday on Access Television. So you just have to check local listings for that. And then we got to chat with Ahmet about that episode and about his involvement. And it was really, really cool. And he's chill as cool.
Are you ready for Rock My Collection?
On the premiere of Rock My Collection,
$1 to $2 million in value.
Get into Alice Cooper's pants. Take home a little piece of the king.
It's an Elvis wart.
Is one of his warts?
A secret gift from John Mellencamp.
You spend the night, he paints you.
It gets better, Ahmed. It just gets better.
Gavin Rossdale of Bush reveals his famous guitar.
This used to belong to Joe Walsh.
And makes instant memorabilia.
Boom!
Rock My Collection premieres Sunday, August 15th, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Access TV.
Oh my gosh. We're so excited to have you. This show's really fun. Yeah.
Thanks. It was definitely a unexpected delight. I mean, I'm a huge music fan and, a collector of the odd thing here or there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I never really thought about, I have my own connections to things and like why I would go crazy and want a specific music memorabilia item. But then when you on Rock My Collection, when you have an opportunity to chat with other people who are fans, dude, there were moments where I got really emotional. I teared up on people's personal stories and their connections. And then through the process of making the show, I was like, I am really grateful that I was afforded this opportunity to not only work with a great team at Access, which is awesome, but everyone involved in the show was just wonderful. It was one of those rare times where it's easy to do, really fun. I feel like I learned a lot, and I'm proud of all the good work. So I'm glad you liked it.
Now, yeah, we saw the first we saw a rough cut of the first episode and some really unique items on there, but I know over the course of the season you guys are going to feature items by Jimi Hendrix, Tom Petty, Brian Wilson. Just a rock collector's dream to see all this. Were you surprised by just the stuff that people would show you?
Oh yeah, I mean, some of it was gross too. That like we had some like one of Elvis's warts.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Damn.
Do you believe? Because that was so funny. Because I'm watching it and I'm texting Buddy, and literally the exchange was this. So the doctor gave it to you. Yes. So the doctor gave it to you. Yes. And she was like really, really sketchy about the provenance.
Yeah. No, look,
did you believe it?
Regardless, first I tried to understand, well, why would someone want it? Okay. So it goes beyond, no judgment, but certain people have a higher level of fandemonium than I do. Right. So I can recognize that. Would I want a wart and would I want to keep it? Would I want to look at it? No. I think that is disgusting, but she's into it. So slow clap with that one. All right.
Yeah. And then the toenail too. I mean, that's gets even worse. I don't know what's worse than a
That
wart, but
that
I'm
felt
just
weird.
wondering.
Like collecting, like I found it in the jungle room. Like, did she get down there with a magnifying glass and, you know,
Yeah.
Well, it's like you said in the tease, could probably clone Elvis with all that DNA that she has.
yeah. But then again, look, I'm a conspiracy, kind of a nut job. So I do think if we can clone puppies right now, okay, and other things, I think it would be awesome to maybe like cross pollinate Elvis with like a cockatiel, just start making weird Elvis creatures. I'd buy
Mint
one.
Barks, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'll beat on your rug.
So how did this is a really neat show, and Access is kind of known for doing that type of music documentary or in kind of behind the scenes type.
Thank
stuff
goodness
like
for
this.
them, because a lot of the content that I like watching is subject matter that you can't really find anywhere else. I like how music driven the channel is. It's great. So, but sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying, buddy?
No. Anytime you want to speak, just let me know. But the fact that you get to see all these things, how did your involvement come about?
Well, I've worked with some of the executives at Access for well, I've known them for a long time. Really, I'd say a dear friend of mine, Sarah Weedman, who I worked on some programs with her back in the MTV days, and we were talking about some other projects, and she called me up and says, "Hey, we're doing this show that we think you might actually like. Would you consider hosting it?" And I was like, "Well, what is it?" And when she told me all about it, and everyone else, like from the other producers at Critical Content, and then Stephen Breitman, the great man, it was easy to say yes, and it came together really quickly. Greg, the main producer on the show, I worked with him back in the day. This is like when we were in our 20s. I think we were all in our 20s. So it was like a homecoming. It was like getting the band back together. And I couldn't say no to that. And it was just easy. I don't know how else to describe it. It was one of those experiences where the entire crew, everyone was just putting in all the hard work, came at it with all the right energy, and the people that were showing off their memorabilia were all in good mood, and it was just, I think we were all happy to do something other than worry about the pandemic for a moment, right? So we were all very safe making the show, and I'm really glad that we did. I loved getting out of the house and getting into a safe environment to do this show. So
I love that. Talk a little bit about, if you would, the auction component. So not only can the fans watch you and your co-host appraise these items, if the seller so wishes, they can put it up for auction with one of your show's sponsors. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah. So some people come on, they are very curious to see what their items might appraise for. And that's the good work that Stephen does. And then they have the opportunity, if they're coming on and they're like, wow, I learned what it's worth, and now I want to keep it. And it's very special and near and dear to me. I would never sell it. We get those people. And then there's the other folks who are like, yeah, oh, cool. So now that I know a price, maybe they need some money to buy something else or whatever. And we're there to help them out. So we had a large portion of the people that came on the show really wanting to share their collection for other buyers. And at least the interesting part is Stephen and the people who we use to verify the authenticity of these items. That's pretty important. So a lot of research goes into that. So the items that are up for sale, our viewers, if they decide to, bid on it, at least they know its authenticity, which is what I think collectors really want,
Yeah, absolutely. And now I know the show premieres on August 15th. Is that when people are able to go on and start bidding?
I would think so. I would hope so. I haven't asked that question. My assumption is that if we have a show on the air that's saying you can go online right now and and you know dive into this, then for sure that would be a rather large hiccup. So yes, when you watch
Okay.
the show, the things are up for sale. You can check it out. They're up there for the a limited time, and hopefully people will enjoy it. I mean, it's really fun, and the items that we have, there's some really good ones that went up for auction, but also our partners, they have other memorabilia and things that other people would be interested in too.
So new items will be up every week to correspond with the show that's airing that week, and you'll be able to go on and bid on the auction. So it's really fun and really interactive. And I got to tell you, I'm addicted. It's like Pawn Stars for music junkies. It's just awesome. I really loved watching what we got to see.
Well, I hope you will stay with the show, because we've got some really good interviews with some of the celebrity guests that came on to share items from their auction. And I mean, everyone was, I feel like a broken record here. Everyone really was a dream to work with, but the guests that we had on, people that I idolize, I got the opportunity to chat with some of my heroes and to hear their stories of items that are important to them through their musical journeys. I found that to be fascinating. We try to have not to take ourselves too seriously, or I don't take myself too seriously. So I think that the people that have come on the show had a good time, and we got them to do some pretty, silly things. I got to say that these are rather unique interviews, on top of all the collectibles that you will discover on the show. There's really humorous, delightful things that happen, if I may be so bold.
Right.
I'm rather happy with the results.
Yeah. And you have Gavin Rossdale on as the first celebrity guest.
Yeah, so this is the dream, right? So you get Gavin on, and you're like, who doesn't want to have the most handsome man alive as a new friend? Okay, so I mean, he's just, first of all, he's immortal. I'm pretty certain that Gavin Rossdale is,
just doesn't age.
He does not age. He does not age. He is a perfect specimen. I love his music. He was so charming. He was so funny. And apparently a big tennis fan. I didn't know that. I learned something new on the show. So spoiler alert, if you watch his episode, you will learn that he really loves tennis.
Love that. You talk about your musical heroes. You talk about getting to talk to them. Your dad is a musical hero to a lot of people. And there's, I think, might be a lot of Frank Zappa memorabilia out there. So this is a two-part question.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Will you have any memorabilia from your dad on the show? And number two, what would your dad, being as unique a character as he was, what would your dad think of the whole idea of collecting things from musicians to as memorabilia? What would he think of that practice?
Well, the first part, so yeah, I invite people into home base. I'm here at my office right now, where this is kind of like Zappa headquarters, where I work on future releases and just kind of the global family biz that relates to all things Frank Zappa. So yeah, I take people around, which I've never really done before, and I show off some interesting items that people I think will be familiar with. I think some folks might be shocked that we still have certain things that we have. I mean, we really do have lots and lots and lots and lots of things of importance. So hopefully people will be delighted. If you're a Zappa fan, there's some cool stuff. But let's see. Would Frank be someone who is a fan of music memorabilia. I mean, maybe not in the same way, because I don't know that he was never really a collector, other than he loved his music. So he had a large vinyl collection, and that was important. You know, he kept all the music. He was someone that memorized who wrote all the music, the length of time of each song. He kind of had this amazing recall of all things, you know, related to the music that he really loved. But I don't know. There's a moment where, like, I don't know if this qualifies as the answer, but as an example, Jimi Hendrix gave my father one of his burnt, destroyed guitars that my dad fixed up, and he used to play on tour. And he gave that to my brother, and that's something. I mean, I can tell you my brother is a big fan of that sort of music memorabilia, because that's a really amazing historic, piece of musical equipment, and the energy and the whole vibe of who's touched it and played it. And there's a similar kind of tale ish that we touch upon, not Zappa related, but a superstar musician. I don't want to spoil it, but there is a rather famous Clapton guitar, the Fool, and you'll hear an interesting story in regards to that on one of the episodes.
Oh, that's awesome, and looking forward to that, and kind of bring that back to the celebrity items going to auction. It's actually going to benefit a very good cause.
Oh, when we it's pretty fun when we have celebrities that come on. We do this instant memorabilia thing where we ask them to kind of randomly pick anything, right? And we were really trying to be cheeky with it, not expecting people to give us something that was like really, really awesome. I mean, it would be awesome to get any of these musical icons to sign anything. But some people were definitely overly generous, and the money does go to a good cause for sure.
Yeah, the National
On those
Independent
items.
Venues Foundation, which is covering COVID costs, for independent venues across the country.
Which is one of the things that was important to me about the show. I mean, during the pandemic, we tried, myself and our organization, to do as much as we could for the music community in need. I love that concerts are coming back. People, I hope, will be safe. And, if you're not, vaccinated, please wear a mask. Please try to do some things and respect your neighbors, because, we all want to get through this pandemic. But yeah, it's important. I mean, so a lot of the music community in need really has suffered. And people that make a small living, but they're passionate about playing music, and that's their entire world. Again, just had to make real sacrifices. And, I know we can all relate to what we've all gone through. So yeah, I don't want to talk about it as a downer, but I'm glad that we're giving back to the, to music.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we wrap up here, any other, I know you guys have been putting out releases regularly for your dad's estate. Anything that you can discuss that maybe hasn't been announced yet? Are you guys constantly working on stuff?
Yeah, we try to do 3 or 4 significant releases a year, because we have a vast vault, and a lot of the kind of music memorabilia might be photographs or things that we have in our archives that people haven't seen, and they wind up being exposed for the first time in some of our projects. Like we recently discovered Ringo Starr's the wig Ringo Starr wore when he was playing my dad in 200 Motels, and I think the mustache and some of those items, which is like weird to be like, we've had this all this time. Like, what do you do with it? Just sits there, so like maybe someone would want that. It's like I just ask myself, like, that could be something that might want to put up for auction. Do you guys have anything in your collections? Are you guys collectors?
Gosh.
Yeah, I am. I got a lot of autographs from different artists, some more autographs from others than, but I do collect. I try to collect stuff on it.
I try to collect as much replica of the actual thing as I can. I don't have like, something somebody used on stage, etc. But we're both big Garth Brooks fans.
Mm-hmm.
And so the company that made all of his shirts that was on all of his artwork back in the 90s, they actually made those shirts commercially available. So I have those replicas. I have the Stetson Tyler that's actually not made anymore, but for my 16th birthday, my grandmother got me the model Tyler Stetson he used to wear. So those kinds of things where they're not exactly the artist. Like here, I'll show you this. This is one of my podcast microphones. I don't know if you can see it. That is exactly the microphone, except they have a special black and red. That's exactly the microphone Metallica uses on stage, the Shure Super 55. So a lot of things that have where it's an actual unit, it's just not theirs, but it has a relationship to the artist. So that's the kind of stuff. Okay, buddy, go ahead. Show and tell. Show and tell.
I'm just going to show you one thing, but I have many autographs of this artist, but I like a lot of genres, but
oh yeah, Reba.
There's Reba
there. So she's my celebrity crush.
Really?
Has
I'm
been
more
for
like
30
a
years.
Martina McBride. She's a great singer. Her husband, nice guy. Like just their studios, because they still have Blackbird, right? That's their studio, right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they've been running that for a while now. And speaking of Garth, actually, John was his tour manager for a while in the early 90s.
Yeah, but if in terms of country music, I would not expect you guys to be more in the country music vibe. But Dolly is a goddess. She's the greatest of all time.
Yeah. I like a lot of rock too. I've got you can't see it, and if this was a laptop, I'd show you, but a big 2-foot by 3-foot Poison poster signed by Bret Michaels that I got in person. Underneath that's John Bon Jovi.
Right. What about we just lost a music legend, and he's ZZ Top memorabilia?
Oh, yes.
I don't, and I don't. But how close were you to those guys?
Oh, I wasn't close with them. I mean, like seeing their music video, all of their music videos as a kid on MTV. That was kind of like my sweet spot. So that was my first introduction in like the Ray Harryhausen TV monster that came out of the home like microwavable home dinner thing. I forget which music video that was, but that just pulled me in. And yeah, I mean, like their music, their influence certainly on me is pretty extreme. But weirdly, I never saw them live. I can't believe it. And now I want to,
me too.
I'm just banging my head against the wall. It's like, oh, I missed all those opportunities, which just sucks.
I totally get where you're coming from, because I just bent over backwards to go see Alabama in York Fair, because they're down a member already with Parkinson's, and who knows how long they're going to go. But real quick, last thing I'll tell you, because you said something and it triggered something that crosses all genres. We were in Nashville in November.
I love Nashville. Big ups to Nashville.
If I say the name Manuel, do you know who I'm talking about?
Manuel?
Yes. He is the designer to the stars. I mean, he designed the outfits for the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club album. He's the man who put Johnny Cash in Black. He crosses all genres. And there was a piece there that I just absolutely loved. It was not tied to anybody. It was a unique piece in his shop. I plopped down way too much money for it. And we talk about that elsewhere on this podcast, but it's one of those things where I'm not collecting from say a musician, but this gentleman, Manuel, you can certainly say he is an artist. It's a one-of-a-kind piece,
Sure.
and it's only going to appreciate in value as years go on and he retires or passes on and doesn't get to make anything anymore. So
It's awesome that you both are collectors, and I feel like we're comrades in arms.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
buddy and Matt, thank you
This was a pleasure.
for having me on your show, and
Well, I appreciate
let's
you
do this
coming on.
again.
Indeed.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll get a little more time to talk about your career and your
music.
radio show, which we were hoping to get
Yes.
to today.
Oh wait, we can do that anytime. I mean, the most salient thing, I'm really proud of the work that we did as a loving team at Access. Proud of Rock My Collection, proud of our partnership with Critical Content. We all had to work together to make the show happen. And I just hope everyone out there enjoys it.
Absolutely. Well, Ahmet, thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to the show and having you on again in the future.
Be my pleasure. Anytime, guys. See you.
Rock My Collection premieres Sunday, August 15th, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Access TV.
Chill is cool. That's what I said. Chill is cool.
Oh, speak much, buddy. What is chill?
I
is
don't.
cool? Going
I
into
don't know.
we've been in the studio for about 4 hours today, doing a bunch of different things, communicating back and forth on logistics and stuff. So please forgive our verbal exhaustion.
This is why, I'll be honest, this is why you asked the majority of the questions. Because I can't freaking think. And when I think, it doesn't come out properly.
Well, it's funny. It was so funny at the end of that interview. Yeah, we're not really collectors. And then we start rattling off and my Manuel shirt and all.
Well, I never said I wasn't. Never said I wasn't. I just
Well, you don't have like a Locker Reba's hair, I hope. Nothing that like
I'm not going to
weird,
show
like
it.
wait, do you? Wait, you told me we're going to talk about this for a second. There was a Reba boxed set or collector thing, and there was a little bit of hair in there.
You remember everything, don't you?
Yeah. Do you
So this
have
is
that?
no, it's a very rare item. And when she cut her hair in 96, there was this promo box that was sent for the What If It's You album that debuted her shorter hair, and they included a lock of her hair in it. And it can be found at times on eBay. It is, like I said, extremely rare. It's one of the rare promo items I do not have, but come hell or high water, at some point I'll likely have it, and I'll show you if that happens. But the problem is there's a lot of times there's a bunch of different
The problem is
different.
there are a lot of weird
Let me
people out
finish.
there.
Let me finish. The problem is there's a lot of components to it, and I'd want it complete, and the hair has to be there.
Well, I was going to say the problem is there are a lot of weird people out there. Reba opened herself up to some people taking a lock of her hair, doing some voodoo shit. So,
But it's okay because it's fun for collectors. Now, I like I said, it's rare. I know some people that do have it, but I'm not willing to pay what they're offering to sell it. So,
God.
I
Well,
have it.
yeah, like I said, I'm not a big collector of like, oh, this was staged used this, or actually I do have an item.
Okay.
I'm not a big collector of this, but I do have a stage used item. So Jim Stafford, when he performed in Branson, excuse me, I just need to look at that. Yeah. When Jim Stafford performed in Branson, he did a song Cow Patty, which he wrote and performed for the Clint Eastwood movie, Any Which Way You Can. And every song, since he only had a few hits in the 70s, every time he would do a hit in his Branson show, it was a skit of some kind. So this was a Western themed skit. And in the middle of Cow Patty, he would start doing tricks with this classical guitar that he would play for this song. The hole could slide off the guitar was one of them. He would yell at the assistant. The assistant would come out and be like, the hole fell off this guitar, and they'd swap it out for a real one. And then in the middle of the song, he would hold the guitar up. Maybe I could find you a clip and we can put it in as B-roll. I have it on a drive somewhere. He would hold it up and a stage he would be, and you would hear Jim Stafford's amazing vanishing guitar. Well, what would happen is a hand would reach down from the rafter, pick it up, pull it up. And then the joke would be that he would do like this, get distracted, the person would drop the guitar would shatter into a million different pieces.
Yeah.
Well, the way that worked, and then he would very quickly, a magic trick, he would very quickly scoot the pieces over to a trapdoor. And I mean, this wasn't really a secret because the trapdoor, you could kind of see the tape around the trapdoor. The pieces would drop, somebody would be under, hand him a guitar, he'd turn around and it'd be magically fixed. Well, when I interned for him, I said, they were telling me, oh yeah, these guitars last about a month, the ones that they actually destroy. They said, we get about a month of use out of them. Because what they would do is they would cut them up so that they were like a puzzle. And they would they would cut them always the same way, and they would put them together always the same way, tape them together just with Scotch tape so that they would break real easily. Well, it's my internship, end of my internship. The guitar's been used pretty hard. They're like, yeah, we have another one we're going to cut up. And guy goes, here you go, hands me a trash bag with all the pieces.
No way.
And we drove home to Pennsylvania with this trash bag, the big 30-gallon trash bag of these pieces of the guitar, this classical guitar, no strings, nothing.
That's awesome.
So we get home, we tape it together. I don't think I didn't have Jim sign a piece because they said he'll be pissed if we find out. He says we were going to junk it anyway, but like, don't tell him you have this. He knows now. Yeah. But so we went home, taped it all together, put it in a guitar case that I happen to have, and that's where it's lived for probably 10 years now.
You've never told me this story.
So that is the one piece of stage memorabilia that I know I have. I could probably think of others, but like I said, if anything, it's the replicas. It's the Mo Betta shirts. Wow. It's owning an original Manuel. Those things.
And trying to storm the Garth Brooks Stadium Tour stage for set list following the show. I mean, that did happen.
Well, they were handing them out. Okay, they were handing them out.
Hey, I'm the biggest nerd. You're always yelling at me about don't ask for autographs, all that. And I get it. But when I have a chance, and especially if I can buy one, I will.
Yeah.
We have coming up involves Vegas once again, us meeting, and it's December. That's somebody we already talked about, Reba Brooks and Dunn residency. And you can bet I'm taking advantage. I already have this planned out. You probably driving you nuts about it already.
We were talking about what you just sort of brought up a second ago. I actually think we need to normalize people in the media asking for autographs and asking for photos, because so much of what we do is exactly what you and I are doing right now. Mm-hmm. We're talking through a camera. Now we could be together. We could be in front of the artist, and those are real world things. But at the end of the day, you walk away from it, all you have is the memory of the conversation and the digital media. Something tangible. I used to, but then I moved. So I haven't done this since I've moved. I haven't done it in a couple of years, actually. I used to have these 5x7 cards that if I knew I was interviewing somebody in person, or if I was going to get to meet somebody that I had interviewed, I would take these cards and say, because usually I would get to meet them off of the fact that I had interviewed them in the past.
Right.
I would take these cards and say, hi, I kind of do this as kind of a scrapbook. Would you mind signing? And they're always happy to do that, happy to take a picture. I think if you're in this sector of journalism, yes, you have to maintain some impartiality, especially when covering harder news, like somebody's done something criminal, there's some sort of breaking news. You have to maintain impartiality, but entertainment journalism is a relationship business. And if I can turn to a wall and have autographs of people I've interviewed, or a piece of Gene Simmons artwork, which we talk to him next week. Those are things, tangible, physical things from the career in media that I don't think journalists should be ashamed to ask for, ashamed to have.
Not at all, because why are you in this business to begin with? Typically, you're a music fan first, right? You enjoy what you do. You want to cover the artists that you enjoy seeing, and that's why we frequent a lot of concerts. And you want to be non-biased too, obviously, and that's why
Mhm.
this website covers a gamut of music artists. I don't, particularly care for most of those styles, but I want to be fair. I want to be
Mhm.
balanced. I want to be good at, covering everything that I possibly can as one person doing that. But I also want to go and enjoy the concerts, enjoy the artists that I do. And if you get a chance to meet them, you get a chance to hang out or take a picture, autograph. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I don't know that anybody really does. I think it's the way you approach it. If you come at it as a big, giant, crazy fan, yeah, that's an issue. If you come at it with, more of a relaxed and calm, cool, collective type thing, professional,
And where
think
in
you're
the end,
okay.
the thing you get is going to be sentimental to the experience. Yeah,
Right.
totally fine.
You're not going to go put it on eBay for thousands of dollars because,
Right.
He signed it. I'm not about that. If I get an autograph, it's because I genuinely enjoy that artist and I just enjoy collecting that stuff. So,
Right.
well,
Well,
you will not see me with a wart or any toenail clippings from Reba. I guarantee
yeah,
that.
no. Oh, well, no, I wouldn't even put that past you.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, if it were dropped on your doorstep, I don't think you'd say no, but
Well, we're
I
not
could
going
see you
there.
not paying for it. But you know what I would love to see up for auction though, seriously? One of
What?
her red dresses, because she's had so many different fancy dresses
Yeah.
throughout her career. It would be very cool to
think I-
see
Don't think
one
I
of
could
those
afford
up.
it. Don't think I
Oh
could
no,
afford it.
nobody could afford that.
Yeah.
That would go for a lot of money.
But I'll tell you, one of the VIP options that I'm looking at that I'm probably going to pass up just because of space and spacing issues, most likely, the autographed Reba Brooks and Dunn guitar that you
Yep.
get with 2 front row seats for the show.
But even then, that's like memorabilia that they're producing and signing en masse. A set
Right.
list is a little more cool because I'll bet you, because the
Mhm.
set list is another option. A set list is cooler because I'll bet you it'll have the date. I'll bet you it'll be custom because they do swap out some songs,
Yeah.
even though it's a very produced show. We're talking Reba Brooks and Dunn in Vegas. Even though it's a very produced show, they do swap out some songs from time to time. So those set
Mhm.
lists are going to be custom to the thing you saw. They did that with Alabama. They did a guitar that was signed, and it was exorbitantly expensive. I like
Oh, yeah, of
Alabama,
course.
but I'm not buying a $980 guitar.
Well, and that's the thing. But with the guitar, with this, you get, and I don't even know the pricing. I haven't even seen that. But
Right.
you get 2 front row seats and you get the guitar. But with the set list, I mean, we're already going Friday for sure. I'm just debating how I'm going to do Saturday. I think you and the kid are going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to see my woman again.
Thank you for sicking your kid on me. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
you offered.
I did offer, and I love your daughter to death, and it'll be fun.
She's going to
So-
enjoy it.
So, all right. Well, for the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
And buddy, thanks for listening or watching on socials, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out themusicuniverse.com. Take care.